I still remember the exact moment my hands began to shake, not from happiness, but from shock. The gift bag slipped slightly from my fingers, the soft rattle of tiny baby shoes echoing in the hallway, right as I saw her pull the fake belly away from her body. For a second, I thought my eyes were lying to me. I blinked. I swallowed. I stood completely frozen, because standing right there in my son's bedroom was my daughter-in-law. No baby bump, no pregnancy glow, no life growing inside her. Just a silicone belly lying on the bed like a terrible joke, and she hadn't seen me yet. Let me take you back a few hours earlier, to the moment my heart was full of joy. That morning, I woke up smiling, something I hadn't done in years. My son had called me the night before, his voice filled with excitement. "Mom," he said, "you're going to be a grandmother." I cried, I laughed, I thanked God over and over again. After everything I had been through in life, the sacrifices, the loneliness, the years of putting everyone else first, this baby felt like a blessing meant just for me. I decided to visit them unannounced. I wanted it to be a surprise. I went shopping early that morning. I picked out the softest baby clothes, tiny socks, a silver rattle, and a small blanket embroidered with "Loved before birth." I even bought a bracelet for my daughter-in-law. It said, "Mama." I imagined her smiling, emotional, maybe even crying when I handed it to her. I never imagined what I would actually see. When I reached their house, I noticed something strange. The curtains were drawn, unusual for midday. The house felt quiet, too quiet. I rang the bell. No answer. I knocked. Still nothing. I knew my son was at work, he'd told me that, but my daughter-in-law was supposed to be home. The door wasn't locked. I hesitated, then pushed it open slightly. "Hello?" I called out gently. Silence. I stepped inside, holding the gift bag close to my chest, my heart still light with excitement. That's when I heard voices upstairs. A woman's voice. And then laughter. Not the joyful laughter of a pregnant woman, but something forced, nervous. I climbed the stairs slowly, and then the bedroom door creaked open. That's when I saw it. My daughter-in-law standing in front of the mirror, peeling a large fake belly away from her waist. It dropped onto the bed like a costume. My breath caught in my throat. My mind screamed one word: why? Before I could step back, the floorboard beneath me creaked. She turned. Our eyes met. Her face went pale, and in that moment, I knew one thing for certain. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. She stared at me like a child caught stealing, eyes wide, lips trembling, color draining from her face. Then suddenly, she smiled. Not a warm smile, not a natural one, a forced, shaky smile. "Oh, Mom, you scared me," she said quickly, stepping in front of the bed, as if her body alone could hide the fake belly behind her. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I wanted to scream. I wanted to demand answers. I wanted to grab that fake belly and throw it at her feet. But I didn't. I smiled back. A calm smile. A dangerous one. "I brought something for you," I said, lifting the gift bag. Her eyes dropped to it, and for a brief moment, fear flashed across her face. "Oh, that's so sweet," she said, her voice too high. "You really didn't have to." I walked into the room slowly, each step heavy. My eyes never left her face. "How are you feeling? The pregnancy must be exhausting." She swallowed. "Yes, very tiring," she said quickly. "Doctor says I should rest a lot." Doctor. That word burned. I placed the gift bag on the table and sat down, pretending I hadn't seen anything, pretending my world hadn't just cracked open. She kept talking, filling the silence with lies. "The baby's very active," she said. "I've been feeling kicks all day. Your son is so excited." Each word felt like a slap. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore. Her eyes flicked toward the bed. toward the lump under the blanket. I stood up, slowly, and pulled the blanket back. The fake belly lay there in plain sight. The room fell silent. Her shoulders dropped. The smile vanished. And just like that, the truth collapsed. She burst into tears. "I can explain," she cried, rushing toward me. "Please, just listen." "Explain what?" I asked quietly. "How long have you been lying to my son?" She sank onto the bed, covering her face. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she sobbed. "At first it was just a delay." "A delay?" I repeated. She nodded. "Everyone kept asking when we'd have a baby. Your son wanted one so badly. His parents wanted one. I was scared." "Scared of what?" I asked. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I can't have children." The words hit me harder than the fake belly ever could. She cried harder now. "I found out 2 years ago. Medical condition. Very rare. I didn't tell your son. I was afraid he'd leave me." My chest tightened. "And instead of telling him the truth," I said slowly, "you built a lie." She nodded. "I thought maybe one day we'd adopt, or I'd find a solution. I just needed time." "Time," I repeated. "How long?" I asked. Her answer chilled me. "Until after the delivery date." My blood ran cold. "You were planning a fake birth?" I asked. She nodded again, trembling. "Yes, I even found a woman online. She's pregnant. She agreed to give the baby to us." I stepped back. The room spun. This wasn't just a lie. This was a plan, a crime, a disaster waiting to happen. "And my son?" I asked. "Does he know any of this?" She shook her head violently. "No, please don't tell him," she begged. "He loves me. I'll lose everything." I looked at her, really looked, at the fear, at the desperation, at the mess she had created. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. If I stayed silent, I would become part of the lie. And if I spoke the truth, my son's life would never be the same. I didn't answer her right away. Her eyes searched my face desperately, like a prisoner waiting for a verdict. "Please," she whispered again, "if you tell him now, he'll hate me forever." I took a slow breath. "I won't say anything," I said calmly. Relief washed over her face so fast it almost made me sick. "Thank you," she sobbed, grabbing my hands. "You don't know what this means to me." But inside, my heart was screaming, because while my mouth said yes, my mind said something very different. From that day on, I became a shadow in their lives. I smiled at family dinners. I asked about doctor appointments. I touched her belly, the fake belly, and pretended to feel kicks. And every single time, I felt like I was betraying my son. But I needed proof, because something didn't sit right. If she really planned to adopt secretly, if she really had a pregnant woman lined up, then where was she? I started paying attention. Her appointments were always vague. No ultrasound photos, no hospital name, no doctor's card. Whenever someone asked about delivery plans, she quickly changed the subject. One night, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the table. A message popped up. "Payment delayed again. I can't wait forever." My heart raced. I didn't open the message, but the name burned into my memory. Rena. The next day, I did something I never thought I would do. I followed her. She told my son she was going to a prenatal yoga class. I waited 5 minutes, then got into my car. She drove across town, not to a hospital, not to a clinic, but to a small cafe near the bus station. I parked across the street and watched. 10 minutes later, another woman walked in. Young, very pregnant, clearly nervous. They sat at the far corner table. I couldn't hear their words, but I didn't need to. I saw my daughter-in-law slide an envelope across the table. The pregnant woman shook her head. Then she stood up abruptly and walked out, wiping tears from her face. My stomach dropped. This wasn't an agreement. This was desperation. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining my son holding a baby that wasn't legally his, imagining police at the door, imagining his life destroyed because of a lie he never chose. I knew I had to act, but I needed the final piece, so I did something risky. I contacted Rena myself. I created a fake profile and sent a simple message. I heard you might be willing to help a couple adopt. She replied within minutes, and what she told me made my hands go numb. She wrote, "I'm not selling my baby. I was pressured. She said it was temporary. She lied to her husband. I already reported her to a counselor. If she doesn't stop contacting me, I'll go to the police." I stared at the screen. The truth was clear now. There was no adoption plan, no legal process, no happy ending, only a woman trying to steal time and steal a child, and I had only one choice left. The next morning, my son called me. "Mom," he said happily, "we're having a small family dinner tonight. She wants to announce something special." My heart broke. The dining table was beautifully set. Soft lights, smiling faces, laughter filling the room. Everyone was there, relatives, close friends, and, of course, my son, sitting proudly beside his wife. She looked radiant that night. The fake belly was perfectly shaped under her dress. Her hair was done, her smile practiced. If I hadn't known the truth, I might have believed it all. My son stood up and tapped his glass. "We have some wonderful news to share," he said, beaming. She placed a hand on her belly and looked around the room. My heart pounded. This was it. I stood up too. "Before you do," I said gently, "there's something I need to say." The room went silent. She turned to me, eyes wide, silently begging me to stop. I didn't. "I brought gifts for my future grandchild," I said, my voice steady, "and I was so happy until I discovered something I wish no mother ever had to see." Confusion spread across the table. My son frowned. "What do you mean, Mom?" I reached into my bag and placed the fake belly on the table. Gasps filled the room. Her chair scraped back. She stood up, shaking. "No, this isn't what it looks like," she cried. I turned to my son. "She's not pregnant," I said softly, "and she never was." The room exploded. "What? How could you say that? This is a joke, right?" My son stared at his wife, then at the belly, then back at me. "Tell me she's lying," he said to her. She broke down. Between sobs, the truth poured out. The medical condition, the fear, the fake belly, the lies, the woman named Rena. Every word crushed him. He sank into his chair, his face pale. "I would have stayed," he whispered. "Why didn't you just tell me?" She collapsed to her knees. "I was afraid." Silence followed, heavy, final. Finally, my son stood up. "This dinner is over," he said quietly. Everyone left without a word. That night, my son packed a bag. He didn't yell, he didn't curse, he just said, "I need time." She begged. The house felt empty after he left. Not quiet, empty. My son moved back in with me for a while. He barely spoke during the first few days. He ate because I placed food in front of him. He slept because his body finally gave up. One night, he sat beside me on the couch and said something I will never forget. "Mom, I wasn't angry because she couldn't have children," he said softly. "I was angry because she didn't trust me with the truth." That's when I knew I had done the right thing. A week later, she came to my door. No makeup, no smile, no fake belly. Just a broken woman holding a folder. "I turned myself in for counseling," she said, and I ended things with the woman I pressured. She handed me the folder, medical reports, messages, everything. I lied because I was scared, she said, but I lost everything anyway. I didn't hate her. I hated the lie. My son filed for separation, not revenge. He needed honesty before love. Months passed. Healing came slowly. Therapy helped. Truth helped. Time helped. Eventually, they spoke again, not as husband and wife, but as two people learning what honesty really costs. Whether they reunite or not, that's their journey. But one thing changed forever. No more lies. I still have the baby gifts, the tiny shoes, the soft blanket, the bracelet that says Mama. I keep them in a box, not as a reminder of pain, but as a reminder of truth. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give your family is the courage to tell the truth,